The opening of the Oldham County Code Enforcement Board meeting for September the 6th, 2023. The first item on the agenda will be the approval of the minutes. Has everyone had a chance to read the minutes?
I move that minutes be approved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, the minutes are approved.
So the first case we have today is citation 709-11111 Craigs Creek Court in Prospect, Kentucky. The owner on record is Jamie Scott Brodsky. This hearing was not requested. This is the general location of the property off of Highway 329. This is a violation of the construction site runoff ordinance. This is a copy of the notice of violation and referral for citation from the Oldham County Engineering Office. Here's a couple pictures that the Oldham County engineers took. As you can see, the picture on the left, the silt fence was at capacity. Same picture on the right, the silt fence was at capacity. Citation 709 was issued on July 17th of 23. It's a copy of the citation. I did mail this citation by regular mail. So a little bit of case history. Inspection and referral for citation on July the 11th. The citation was issued on July 17th. As of today, the property is not in compliance, but they are making the improvements towards compliance, working with the Oldham County Engineering Department. This citation was paid in the amount of $250. So basically, this citation, I'm asking for it to be closed based off of the recommendation from the Oldham County Engineering. If they have issues, then another citation will be issued.
Okay, we've had a request to close this citation. I need a motion.
I move to close it.
Okay, I need a second.
Second.
Okay, we have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, the motion carries.
So the second case today is citation number 710, 1630 Harmony Point Circle in Goshen, Kentucky. The owner on record is Blue Horizon Homes. This hearing was not requested. This is the general location of the property on Highway 42. This again is a violation of the construction site runoff. This is a copy of the notice of violation and referral for citation from the Oldham County Engineering Office. Here's a couple pictures that were taken. Picture on the left, the runoff was in the roadway. Picture on the right, you have an unprotected catch basin. Once again, picture on the left, runoff in the roadway, and the picture in the right is the runoff in the roadway. This is a copy of the citation that was issued on July the 18th, citation 710. This one was sent by certified mail. They did sign for it and received it. A little bit of the history. So from July 15th to the 17th, Oldham County Engineering did an inspection and referred it for citation. Citation 710 was issued on July the 18th. As of today, the property is not in compliance, but making strides towards compliance. The citation was paid in the amount of $500 on August the 25th. Kind of the same as the last one. This one would be closed based off the recommendations of the Oldham County Engineering Department. If it's not complete, they will issue another citation.
Okay, I was going to say that you said that it's not in compliance, but you're
Correct.
recommending that the case be closed.
The citation be closed. The
citation
case
be
is still open based off of the fact that they're working towards compliance.
And that's based on the
Another
county,
citation, I
the
guess
county
another
engineer's recommendation to close it?
Because another citation will be issued. So I guess the case isn't closed. I guess, how do we do it? I mean,
Well, if it's not in compliance, you leave it open.
Okay.
You can still issue another citation if they're still in violation, I guess. Now, I want to remind the board that when we issue a citation now, we automatically give them a appearance date. You know, it's not, oh, you know, so like the first one, they were bringing it into compliance, and the county engineers felt it was appropriate to close the case. This one seems much more egregious, though.
Okay.
So did the county engineer, I'm going to ask again, because the county engineer recommend that it be closed?
He didn't recommend that it be closed. He recommended that they are working towards compliance, I guess. Not necessarily to close the case, but they are not to make it, no more fines or anything like that. Let them continue to work towards compliance.
Okay, well, I would suggest that we leave it open until there is
Okay.
compliance. And if we have to come back, you know, bring it back as other business next month.
Okay.
So there's no action for us.
Well, Madam Chair, that'd be up to you, but I would say that we just leave it open and table it till next month.
Okay? We have a recommendation to table this till next month. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion, we table it to next
Okay?
month.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay.
So the next citation is citation 711, 1812 Zachary Drive. Owner on record is Tracy Dorr. This is the general location of the property off of Zell Smith Road. This is a violation of the construction site runoff. This is a copy of the notice of violation and referral for citation from the Oldham County Engineering Office. These are some pictures taken by the engineering office on March, I don't think that date's right, March 24th. I think they were taken in July. Yeah, July 14th. The picture on the left, the silt fence was 1/3 full and needed the capacity restored. On the right, the silt fence was knocked down and needed to be stood back up. This is a copy of the citation that was issued on July the 21st. It was sent by certified mail. I haven't received it back yet. So the referral citation by the engineering department on the 19th and 20th. The citation was issued on the 21st. They are scheduled, it was re-inspected and in compliance on August the 9th. As of today, the citation has not been paid. I believe on the citation, I gave her a due date of August the 21st. So she still has, it is past due. I did talk to her last week. She thought that it had been paid. She was out of the country. She said when she got back, she would contact me about making the payment. But the property is in compliance. It's just that the citation hasn't been paid yet.
Interesting.
Is this another one we could table till the citation's paid? Or is because it's in compliance, can we close it?
I think we could table it
Well, because the fine isn't paid,
because the fine isn't paid, yeah.
although if you closed it and they didn't pay it,
The
then
fine,
we
we'd have
could
to
move towards
reopen it.
placing a lien. These are hard because we can't place a lien against the property. It's a,
The owner of the property is the
Oh, it is.
individual.
Okay.
Yes, Tracy
So-
Dory is the owner and the builder.
an option could be that they close it, but if the fine isn't paid, within, give them a certain amount of time to pay the fine, and if not, we'll place a lien on the property.
Did the owner give you an indication on when she would be back to pay?
Monday. She said she would be getting back into town Monday, I believe is what she said.
So I would move that we close the citation out, and if the owner has not come and paid the citation by the end of the month, that we place a lien on the property.
There you go.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion that the citation be closed, and if the fine's not paid, that a lien will be put on the property by the end of this month. Is that correct? The end of September,
Yes.
okay? Do I have a second?
A second.
We have a second. I'm going to take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, the motion carries.
So citation 713-6605 Core Lake Road. The owner of record is Joe Kroll Builders, LLC. This hearing was not requested. This is the general location off of Highway 329. This is a violation of the illicit discharge ordinance. So this is a copy of the notice of violation and referral for citation from the Oldham County Engineering Office. The builder of this property is Joe Kroll. The citation was issued to Sunshine Ready Mix for the illicit discharge. This is some pictures taken by the Oldham County Engineering Department. As you can see, the picture on the left, the concrete waste and washout was in a roadside ditch. Picture on the right of the same thing. This is some pictures. The concrete washout flowing downstream to a catch water basin. And picture on the right shows the concrete washout entering the downstream to the catch basin. This is a copy of the citation number 713 that was issued on August the 15th. This one was sent by certified mail. A little bit of case history on this one. So this one took some digging to find out who the violation or who the citation was actually going to be issued against. So the citation was issued a little later than, it got issued to a couple people till we got the right individual to actually issue the citation to on. So it was not issued and sent until August the 15th to Sunshine Ready Mix. So in the citation, I think I did give them a pay date of September the 14th before it's due. I do not know if they've received it yet or not.
I have a question, Adam. Could you go back, could you go back to the last photograph? Is it a violation of, not a silt fence, but it's got hay bales there that the material actually ran around, it appeared, or through? Is that not a issue for the county engineer as well?
Well, this one's
Or is it
different than
part
the
of it?
previous two because this is an illicit discharge. Oh, it's a construction site runoff, sorry.
No, this
The
is
next
illicit
one.
discharge.
This is
It is
illicit
illicit
discharge.
discharge.
I'm sorry, yeah. So it's different in that it's being discharged into the stormwater system.
So
And
this was a concrete truck that washed out
I understand.
in the down, okay.
So it really does, it has less to do like the previous ones where stormwater and really not having their silt controls in place and maintained. This one's actually discharging into a catch basin, into a stream, which hasn't been mitigated yet.
That's what I was going to ask. What's his
So
response?
from talking to the Oldham County engineers, there's really no way to mitigate this. It's already done. There's no way to go in and fix it now. I mean, it's done. So this is a case of we find him. There's no way to fix the fact that they put the concrete in the water basin. There's no way to come in and fix it. He discharged it into the storm drain. So it's just, he has to pay a fine for it. There's no way to actually come in and take that concrete out of the basin, out of the storm drain. And to go a little farther with the silt fence, and I'm not one of the engineers, but I believe because it's all grassed over, I don't think the silt fence is required because he does have the grass. If you can see in the picture, there's grass and everything. This is a case of the concrete
It's starting
truck.
to be established, right?
Yeah, it's already established. The concrete truck washed his in an area, he's supposed to have an area that he washes out in.
But that concrete waste that's in the ditch, they can remediate that.
Correct.
There was a picture.
So once
It
it's.
looked like a fair amount is what I
Yeah,
was
so
saying.
once it's dried up, I'm sure they'll come in and remove that. I don't know if it's been
What's been
done.
set up for that?
Do what?
What has been set up for that? You've asked us about the fine, but you haven't given us anything about
You know what?
cleaning it up.
Let me see if the county engineer will come up on
Okay.
this one, because it's.
Because some of it could be cleaned up and should be.
I'm unclear who got the citation. Is it Joe Kroll or is it Sunshine Ready Mix?
So it did go to Sunshine Ready Mix because they're the ones that, and that's what took a while. So Joe Kroll received the,
They're the
notice
builders
of-
on the lot.
because he owned the lot, so he received the first notice of violation. Then he contacted the county engineers and said, this was a concrete truck that did this. So he gave us the first concrete company that he thought did it. We contacted them. They're not the ones that did it, and they gave us the correct company that did it. So, it took a while to find the responsible party.
It would seem like part of the remediation at least would be to regrade that ditch there and require seeding, new seeding, because that concrete is not going to let the grass grow through
The
it.
county engineer will be right up.
Okay, thank you.
It'd be easier.
Definitely for them to answer.
Wait for him. Yep.
Yeah, I apologize. I tried to ask some questions, and I didn't even think to ask that question.
Adam, is there one more while we're waiting for him, or are we?
The next one's going to take some time. Yeah. So this is the last short one. We've got two more, and both of them,
Well, I'm sorry. Let me look at the,
yeah,
yeah, so it's the last of the citations from the county engineer's office.
yeah. This was the last one. Yeah, I could do the,
There he
the
is.
other two might take a little
There
longer.
he is. Jim, this is on the Clore Lake illicit discharge.
Yes.
Sorry, man.
They're asking questions about how to get the rest of the property cleaned up.
We need to swear him in, right?
Yes.
Sure.
Please do.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give this board is true and accurate to the best of your belief and knowledge?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
So Jim Silliman, County Engineer, 100 West Jefferson Street. And could you repeat the question? It's about cleanup?
Well, there are photographs in here, and Adam, you can go to the next one too, where there is concrete in the ditch line, not necessarily in the catch basin. So the board was asking, picture on the left, is that supposed to be cleaned up?
It will be, correct. It'll be mitigated with finish grading. When they come through and seed and straw, they'll get all that graded out and seed it. Right now, our concern was trying to get the correct concrete company to send the citation to, and we have landed on that finally.
All right. So is it the concrete company's responsibility to get it out of there, or is the builder just gonna accept that responsibility? Because the builder kind of passed it to the concrete company.
Well, the citation was passed to the concrete company. The builder's ultimately going to be picking this up, I'm sure. I doubt the concrete company would be coming back out to clean this up. Ultimately, we're just going to make sure it's cleaned up.
So that's not likely to happen for a period of time.
I'm sorry?
It's not likely to happen in the next few weeks.
Likely not, but now that it's cured and dried, it's not a critical issue. It's not time sensitive.
And is the concrete company required to open the catch basin and get the concrete that's been washed down into the catch basin?
Typically, no.
Okay.
The amount that's washed in there is, I guess, unknown at this time unless we were to TV that, but no, not typically.
Is there risk of the concrete company coming back and doing the same thing?
I don't think so, because the issue we had with even getting the correct concrete company was because it was a different company than the builder usually uses. So my assumption would be, and maybe I shouldn't be making assumptions, but my assumption would be that he's going to go to his typical concrete company now, and if they're available, utilize them.
I don't have any more questions.
Well,
Are you satisfied that they have not yet paid the fine, but their due date was, did you say, Adam, the 14th?
The 14th of September.
Yeah, so we're in front of the code board. You want to leave this open until they pay?
I think that'd be a good decision.
Okay.
thank you.
That's, I think, what they were struggling with next.
Thank you very
Okay,
much.
now
That's what we were struggling with.
Until we get that payment,
Yeah.
it should be left open.
Okay,
Okay, thank you. We have a motion to keep it, to keep this,
just table it for a month.
oh, we're just going to table it. Okay. Yep, so I'll take a motion. Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you.
You're welcome.
We can't change that, can we?
So our next case is citation number 714. This is 1407 Grandview Court in LaGrange. The owner on record is Wendy B. Summers. This hearing was not requested. This is the general location of the property. It is in Crystal Lake subdivision.
Well, Adam, I'm going to jump in that this case has been before you in the past, and you've already made a decision on this, so.
So we've closed the old case, so this is actually a new case. I closed the old case because they recommended closing it. So I started a new case and issued a new citation. So this is a violation of the Oldham County Nuisance Ordinance, Section 1. This is like Jim said, a case that you all have heard before back on May the 5th of 2023. At that code board hearing, you all did issue a final order. In that final order, you all voted to hold the $150 fine in abeyance for 30 days, subject to the respondent complying with reducing the number of ducks on the property to 4 within 30 days. After 30 days, through multiple site visits on the property, at no time could I determine that there were more than 4 ducks on the property. I had not received any complaints. And from speaking to the owner, the last I had spoken to her, she had the number down to 10, and she was working on reducing the number farther. We had a co-board hearing, and I brought it up, and you all had voted to close that case at that time due to lack of any type of complaints or any proof that there was a violation that existed. I did go out there on August the 2nd after I received a complaint. I took a picture. As you can see in this picture, there's approximately 30 ducks on the property. I also received numerous complaints on this property. I think I received 3 emails. I think you all have a copy of all 3 of those. talking about how this is a nuisance and wanting something to be done about it. And I also know, I believe that the homeowner is here, and so is, I think, someone speaking for and someone speaking against. This is a copy of the citation that I issued. Citation 714 was issued on August the 3rd. I did post the citation on her door on August the 3rd. Any questions?
Okay, do you have anyone as part of this citation, any witnesses on behalf?
I think there's witnesses on both sides.
Okay,
So it'd be first in behalf of the citation, so those that are supporting the citation
Right.
first.
okay. Okay, so anyone who is wanting to speak on behalf of this citation, please come forward. I will ask you to raise your right hand and give your name and address, please.
My name is James Allen, 1416 Oldham View Drive. I'm the president of Crystal Lake Association. The people who had sent the 3 letters off to the board were not able to attend today. Mr. Anderson asked me to just speak, to let you know that he's sorry he's not here, but he was speaking in favor of the citations. So he's explained all that stuff in his letter. I don't think I need to go into any more detail other than to say,
Did
We're
you
here.
show a copy of the letter? Should put it as evidence, yep. Jay, can you put on the overhead?
upside down.
Turn it the other way, like you read it, just like you read it. So it's a long letter. Can you summarize rather than us sitting here reading the whole thing?
No, I can't.
Okay, Adam?
I've only been
Summarize,
asked to-
summarize it.
Yeah.
You don't have to read the whole thing.
So, and I'll be honest, I haven't had a chance to read all of these. These people live on Grandview at 1408. They have issues with, give me just a second. So, I mean, you want me to read the
Just
letter?
put it back up on the screen. They can read it. Never mind.
It's long.
Are there more than one letter?
There's 3.
There's 3
Okay,
letters.
why don't you go ahead and put the next one up? Go ahead. That's fine.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, would the respondent like to speak?
Jay, can you switch it back?
I need you to raise your right hand. Give us your name and address.
My name is Wendy Summers, 1407 Grandview Court, LaGrange, Kentucky, 431.
Thank you.
Do
Okay,
you
I'm sorry.
raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give this board is true and accurate to the best of your belief and knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Okay. I'm not real sure where to start. I've not been able to see the letters. That's the first time I've ever seen them. I've gone to all of my neighbors' house multiple occasions, asked if the ducks were a problem, to please let me know anything I could do. And every time I go to them, they say that there's not a problem. The ducks are not a problem. Every one of them, including, I guess, 2 that were up there. The homeowners association does not want me to have the ducks. They have made that very clear. One of the people on that's writing all these letters is a board member of the homeowners association. And he lives all the way down at the end of the street, even though it says 1407, he's all the way at the end of the street. These ducks, as I said last time, were not loud. They do not stink. I take very good care of them. I have them for medical reasons. The statement that I got signed last time was stating that, so in Kentucky, if they're considered a service animal, they have to be a dog. So they weren't allowed to be considered a service animal. They're considered an assistance animal, which is different. But anyway, the easiest route and the quickest way I could get to come to give them that information was to have my psychologist sign the forms, which that's what they were for. They're for, emotional support. But trust me, if they were just for emotional support, that would not be why I needed those ducks. It would not be why I needed that many ducks. First of all of those ducks are not mine. It was breeding season, and those ducks fly over the fence and come in. And I had little baby ducks even come in from the lake, because we live right there off the lake. Now, I was out of town. I explained to Adam that I was out of town. Dan was coming over, feeding and watering them and stuff, but he doesn't count them. He doesn't any of that, right? So he didn't have any idea that I guess they were multiplying. But when he let me know, I've gone out there, I've taken care of it. I've tried to get rid of all the wild ones that I can. They still come back. At the end of this season, though, they'll fly away. They're not still going to be there. Even if I do have to keep chasing them off, they won't stay there because they can actually fly. Mine can't fly. They're domesticated, so they can't fly away. I got sidetracked. Oh, so back to that. All those ducks were not mine. I did what you wanted me to do. It's impossible to get the number down to 4. And the reason is because 4 ducks don't lay enough eggs for me to live off that. And what I mean by that is, hang on, I wrote, because I'm really nervous, so I want everybody to be sure you get the entire story, which this is kind of invasion of privacy, but I don't really have a choice at this point. So the ducks are not just emotional support animals. They provide nutritional assistance for me. I've got an autoimmune disease that it's attacked my bowel, it's attacked my stomach, it's attacked everything. As you can see, I used to be on TPN. I was on TPN for 7 years. It damaged my liver. It did all kinds of stuff. I was in that hospital, I don't know, probably 15 times with sepsis, blood clots, stroke, pulmonary embolisms, DVTs from that TPN. The problem with the TPN on top of it was that the fatty acids that they provide in that are from eggs, from chicken eggs. So I couldn't have the fatty acids from that. And there's no other way to get that if I wasn't absorbing things properly. I have a GJ tube, but even that wasn't working properly. Things weren't. And then I had all these allergies to the stuff that they were using because they were using eggs or they were using dairy or they were using whatever. And so I was literally dying. I was dying. And I didn't know what else to do. The doctor recommended, have you tried duck eggs? And I said, no, I've never tried that. And he said, well, they've been found that people that have chicken allergies, chicken egg allergies, may not have a duck egg allergy. So I tried it, and it worked. And I was able to break it down okay. I was able to absorb it okay. My levels went up, my protein levels. They took out the port. I mean, everything was just, it was doing so much better, you know. But the problem is you can't just buy duck eggs anywhere. You have to, you know, that's not something you can go to the store and buy. And they're not cheap on top of that. They're about $3 or $4 an egg. So he recommended that I raise them and utilize that for my nutrition. And so it worked, and it's been working. I did not provide documentation to the homeowners association until they asked me to, until they called me out on having the ducks. There wasn't a problem with those ducks until they found out that I had those ducks. Do you know what I mean? Like, I had those ducks a year, maybe a year and a half, I think, before they found out that I had them. And then all of a sudden, when they found out that I had them, all of a sudden they're complaining, they're loud, they stink, they're this, they're that. I contacted them and gave them all the supporting documentation that I'm required to give by law. And I'm only required to give that if I don't have a disability that's visible, like physically, like you can't see it, right? So I gave them, hang on. So Kentucky's law for the assistance animal states that an assistance animal is any animal that works or provides assistance or performs tasks for the benefit of the person with a disability or provides emotional support that alleviates one or more identified symptoms or effects of a person's disability. It goes down and explains all that stuff, but it says the person that has to sign that to give documentation is either a licensed clinical social worker, a professional counselor, a registered nurse, advanced practice registered nurse, a psychologist, or a physician. So they weren't happy with what I gave them, and they requested that I go to a doctor. They wanted a, I don't know, they wanted a physician, and not just that, they wanted a psychiatrist too on top of that. Well, I wasn't legally required to give them that. That was really more information than, I didn't want them to know about all this. I didn't want you guys to know about all this, and it's a private situation, and it's something that I'm dealing with, you know. But these ducks have provided me nutritional assistance. Like, I can't even explain it. I mean, it's amazing. Like, I'm living, you know, and I don't have to have TPN. So I mean, I'm breaking down the protein, I'm absorbing it, all of these things. And not only that, like, I don't have friends and family here, and those ducks have just been like my lifeline because I've been going through a lot of stuff, you know, in and out of the hospital constantly. So, but if it was just the emotional support, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. Like, you know, but anyway, I feel like they're kind of harassing me, and one of the first things that they said was, well, we've already had somebody ask if they could have chickens or if they could have this or that, and we had to tell them no. So it's not fair that you get to have that and they don't get to have that. And I said, well, sir, if they've got a problem legally, they can have them, you know. And I think they just don't want to deal with it. But I take care of them, and they don't stink. They're not loud, and they're good animals. The other thing is, so I went, they're saying that they're such a problem, but in all of these Crystal Lake meetings, there's only a couple of times that they mention them. But yet, they have made mention, I think, 4 different times of the leaking septic system that's near our house, and right beside the house, that's the 2 houses that are complaining of the stink. And I had to complain in February because I finally found out where the stink was coming from. For about literally 3 or 4 years, it was horrible. I mean, it smelled like poop. It smelled like poop. And there were all these flies everywhere, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And finally, the land right here that's in between that house and then there's my house, the land started puddling up with doo-doo. And so that's how I figured out that that one was leaking. But not only was that one doing that, and it was running all that poop down into my yard and running it down into the neighbor's yard, but the house right over there was doing the same thing. So it's just crazy to me that they're sitting here and they're trying to say that these ducks are such a nuisance and they smell so bad when they don't. And the sewage systems that are leaking do. And I don't know, hang on. Yeah, so when it became such a problem, all these septic systems started being reported too, and then they just started blaming it, I guess, on these ducks. I mean, I don't know if they truly I think they know it's not the ducks, because Blaine has been on my property several times. Like, the dog got out one time, and he had to come over there and he didn't call me, but he put the dog back in. So he knows it's not my yard. He knows it's not that stinking. And there's nothing visibly, like, there's no poop. I mean, there's nothing, you know? And I've done everything legally that I'm supposed to do. The last meeting that we had when you had decided about 4, I contacted Adam about appealing, and he said he'd get back with me. He wasn't sure how to do it. He'd never had anybody appeal before. And so I said, okay. But then I don't know what happened. He said that it hadn't been a problem. They hadn't been complaining anymore. So, and then he said that I couldn't appeal. I wasn't allowed to appeal the decision. I'm not sure why. But like I said, 4 ducks, they only lay like an egg maybe every 3 or 4 days. And so 4 ducks, that's why I was saying it was pushing it last time to get it down to 10. I didn't think 10 was going to be, enough, but I was willing to do that. But 4 is it's just not enough. And I'm really scared that if I have to get rid of these ducks, what am I going to do? I mean, I cannot go back on TPN. I can't do that. I almost gave up last time and told them I was just done,
Thank you, Wendy.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Do you have any witnesses on your behalf that want to speak?
My husband is here. We're actually separated. He lives in a different place, but he's the one that when I'm sick or in the hospital or out of town or something, he comes over and helps take care of them. So,
Would you like?
The other thing was, Adam had made mention about the neighbors were complaining that my ducks had gotten out, and I was like, I'm telling you, there are wild ducks. Like, my ducks didn't get out. There are wild ducks in our. So, I mean, there's a huge lake back there. There's wild ducks back there, and they come and go, but I'm not keeping them, and I'm not,
Thank you, Wendy.
Okay.
Do you want to speak, sir? We're going to ask you to give your name, your address, raise your right.
My name is Daniel Summers. Address is 1403 Grandview Court. I also, right now, am residing at 310 Camden Wood Place here in Crestwood.
Okay.
1403 property is a vacant lot at the moment. I'm working on building a house there, so I'm over there frequently. I've also helped Wendy on a number of occasions, tried to take care of the ducks, manage them, feed them, make sure their space is clean and whatnot when she's been hospitalized. So as far as statements, I think she'd mentioned,
Just a minute. We didn't get to set.
oh, I'm sorry,
We got started.
sorry.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give this board is true and accurate to the best of your belief and knowledge?
Yes.
Thank you.
Now, please continue.
All right. Wendy had already mentioned a couple of things that I was going to bring up, that there are two houses within about probably a 200-yard radius of the house that she lives in that have had issues with septic system overflows and failures due to having more people living in them than what the houses were coded for. I know one of the systems was actually leaching onto my lot when I was doing yard work over there shortly after it rained. I was walking through muck, and it was really bad. That system has since been cleaned up. I don't know that the ground was ever taken, if samples were ever done with the ground, but I know that that system was purged. The other system, I'm not aware of it. I also know of at least 2 compost piles that are being constantly added to within probably a 100-foot radius of the house. So those things, if there are smells, they could be sources as well. I've never noticed smells when working with the ducks or when working on my property. Similarly, the sound, the noise concerns that I've heard Wendy talk about, concerns with noise. Most of the time when I'm working, I don't notice the ducks making any noise at all. There's been a few times that I've gone over to the place and they get excited if somebody's going out to feed them or something. They'll start quacking and wandering over to their feed. That's usually about the only time that I've ever noticeably heard them. I don't know if there are concerns, if there's been any studies with decibel levels, if the ducks are making loud noises, if it's certain times of the day. I don't know what the conditions are, but in most instances that I've been in that area, I've not heard them. And I've spoken with each of the neighbors in the surrounding properties myself, in addition to what she's done, to see if there's things that need to be done to address the animals, because we care about their quality of living as well. None of them have ever mentioned to me face to face that there have been issues. So yeah, if
Okay,
I don't know
thank
if
you.
that's helpful or not.
Thank you very much. Okay, Adam, do you have a rebuttal or anyone that wants to rebuttal?
You got to say that a little louder. I don't
Oh, I'm sorry.
into the mic.
Is there anyone that would like to rebut after these folks have spoken? Please come forward.
There are a couple items here that I thought,
Pull the microphone up.
yeah, and I apologize, I didn't hear a lot of what was going on here, but I think there might be a couple things that we talked about in the past hearing. This being a new hearing, do we need to recap any of the stuff that we talked about before? I've assumed that kind of carried over. I don't need to redo that. I mean, this is really a hearing about non-compliance, right? So if that's all this is, I don't really need to respond to some of these comments unless you want to hear about them, right? You
Well,
follow?
this is about a nuisance complaint.
It's about a nuisance, but it's about, is it regarding the non-compliance of the existing discussion, or is it a brand new case?
Well, we closed the other one
Okay,
because we didn't think we had any additional issues.
okay.
So it's brand new.
Okay, so let me cover a couple points. One of the reasons why there weren't additional comments made or complaints is because we didn't understand the procedure. We thought that the complaints that were originally made would stand. So that's when the new complaints were made. When they found out that the board was still waiting for the compliance to the original, the homeowners decided that they've had enough of that. And I'm careful not to speak for the homeowners, but I'm representing what I've been told during these meetings. And that they had enough. They are very very interested in helping Wendy. So is the board, in that we understand her condition. We've been trying to have her help us help her, but we don't seem to get the things that we need. So maybe we should have a discussion about that. But the members themselves this has been going on for almost a year. And what started them with this last complaint and the letters was that they're very kind and very patient with the situation, but they've kind of had it. And that's why they had to write the letters. And with regards to confronting people, as you know, we neighbors don't like to confront other neighbors directly. Unfortunately, it's a lot easier to write an email. If we were better at confronting each other, we'd have a better society, but we don't. So that's probably why they haven't been complaining or confronting the individuals. There's some additional things. One of the things that Wendy mentioned was that originally the club has, as you know, a deed restriction on fowl. You can't have chickens, you can't have ducks. We have a zero number for that, right? The board had been interested in helping Wendy by considering an alternative, but it needed enough documentation that it wasn't going to have somebody come after it for, breaking down that part of the deed restrictions because of lack of enforcement. So what the board had agreed to do is say, if sent Wendy a letter and said, if you can provide us information from a doctor or a prescription for this, that we would consider that. What she sent us was emotional support animal documentation for making somebody who has like an apartment building accept an emotional support animal in that apartment building. And from what we could tell, it wasn't sufficient. So we were just asking for a doctor's prescription for that regarding the number of animals and that she needed them for support. Wendy just mentioned that a doctor recommended that she have ducks. So Wendy, I asked Wendy through you if you could provide the information that from that doctor that recommended you have ducks, let's discuss it again. But again, got to keep in mind that the board and the neighbors are pretty much had it and about to enforce their zero restrictions on fowl. The second thing is there was some mention about septic systems and stuff. Yeah, there were some problems. There was one on Lakeside Court that Adam worked with us on with Health Department. That has been replaced with a surface discharge system, and we understand that has been corrected, and the neighbors behind it haven't complained about that. The other one was on Mr. May's property, and that was like 2 years ago, and he's had that corrected as well. So my understanding from discussing this with the neighbors is that they know the difference between what the ducks are producing and what the septic systems and other systems would be. And so that there's not a confusion to them. That's my understanding of it. And again, I think that this is about compliance. I mean, the club was waiting for this to get down to a 4. And then it would kind of reconsider its options. And it hasn't happened. In fact, the number has increased. And that's got us concerned because that means there's no control over the number of ducks. And that would, in my humble opinion, would actually force the board to consider 0 as the answer, because if 4 ducks can turn into 40 ducks or 20 ducks or 15 ducks, then since there's no control in the situation, then we have better things to do than trying to maintain the number and trying to enforce this duck thing to a certain number. And the easiest solution for us would be just to reinforce our deed restrictions was a 0. So I just wanted to clarify some of those issues. I think that pretty much covers what I wanted to say, unless you have a question for me. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Wendy, do you have anything you'd like to add?
About the documentation.
Pull the microphone down.
Oh,
Back
I'm
down.
so sorry. Yeah. The documentation, I provided him everything legally that I was supposed to provide him. Anything more that he was delving into was getting very into like my personal health situation. And I gave him the legal form that the state requires that I get filled out. It has the name of the doctor, the phone number. I think it was the phone number. It's got her name. I don't know. We had it last time. You don't have it, do you? You don't have a copy of it, do you, right now?
That's okay, Wendy, let's just go ahead and proceed.
Okay, but it explained, you know, that the ducks, that I needed the ducks, that that I have a certified disability, and that those ducks are helping me with that. And they weren't happy with it. They wanted me to go instead to a psychiatrist instead of a, legally, like I said, I gave them everything that was required. And asking further questions really felt like an invasion of privacy is what it felt like. And the septic systems, that's not true. The man's house right above me was leaking septic for years, and we just figured out who it was. And I discussed it at length with the neighbors. They were talking about how awful it was, and they couldn't figure out what it was or where it was coming from. And I couldn't figure out what it was and where it was coming from. First, we thought maybe there's a gas leak, and I was like, I don't think there's even gas here. And they were like, well, where is it? What is it? And I was like, I really don't know. So I don't think you could determine what that smell was, because none of us could. You know, if we could, we would have been looking for it. It just stinks. It just smells like poo, you know. And as far as I know, animal poo smells like poo too, you know. I could tell you the difference if the ducks actually smell that bad, but they don't. I mean, even when you get up on them, when you're cleaning, it's just not, you know. And the number, those ducks are expensive to feed. I am not going to have massive amounts of ducks on my property to have to take care of. I have to clean up after them. I am not healthy enough for that. So I am not going to amass some crazy number of ducks. I will get rid of them. And like I said, I did the best I could to get that number down. But during mating season, those ducks come back. And even through the fence, those little, I mean, they're adorable, but I don't have a reason to keep those. I don't have a reason to even keep male ducks because they don't
produce.
lay the eggs. Right. So there was no reason for that. Like I said, the neighbors have never complained to me, and I don't know. I've been very friendly. Like, I was like, please let me know if there is anything I can do.
Okay.
Like, I've been very friendly. I've gone to them several times. I was like, I understand. Like, I don't want this to be. And they're like, no, I'm telling you, there's no problem.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, at this time, I'm going to close it except for board member questions.
I have some questions, Ms. Summers.
Yeah.
Okay.
How many ducks do you have currently?
Currently, I have 10. They're mine. There were a few. Right now, there's probably, I don't know, 6 that come and go. But after he's let me know about all those other ones, I chased them. I've tried to chase them all.
Okay. How do you identify those ducks as yours?
So the wild ones, well, it's kind of hard, but my ducks, I just know them. Like, they're mine. I mean, it's hard to explain, but it's like knowing your dog from another dog.
Did you purchase bands to put on the duck's legs?
I do have bands, yeah.
Okay, so if animal control were called,
They did call
and all of the ducks besides the one with bands were removed, they wouldn't be taking your ducks?
No, they wouldn't be taking my ducks.
Okay. We had said 4 ducks in the last meeting.
Yes.
And you're saying that you can't get to 4 ducks?
No, I would end up, I wouldn't be able to survive on that. That was why I was going to appeal the last time.
Well, we didn't talk the last time about
All this
sustenance.
personal stuff, yeah.
So, that's bringing a new thing to this, because when we talked, it was support,
That's all, yeah.
an emotional support animal. And if you remember, I was one of the proponents of people being able to have those types of things. The issue that I have with this is, one, we aren't a board for creating exceptions to rules. Our job is to enforce, make sure that the rules are enforced and that they're being enforced properly. And I can understand totally I've had chickens. I understand totally the desire to be able to do that. And I'm sure there's people in your neighborhood that would like the idea of Americans being able to sustain themselves. The issue is the rule says in your neighborhood, not just that the homeowners association says it, but the ordinance says you can't have, I'm sorry, that you can't have ducks.
That's not what the law says.
We're letting her talk, you were asking her questions. Right now, we're not ready to, we haven't decided what we're doing.
Well, yeah, I was just trying to have a discussion with her, but okay, I'll stop.
How far is your house from the lake?
I don't know, probably.
2 houses, 3 houses?
There's a house, so the lake does the land juts out like this, and then there's a house right there out into the lake, right? And then the lake comes on the side right here, and it comes on this, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Adam.
It comes on the side over here, and it comes on the side over
Okay.
here, and my house is right here to this side.
I'm just wondering why you can't create a place for the ducks at the lake and not your yard.
Because they told me that I was not allowed to let them leave my yard.
You never mentioned cleaning up after your ducks. How often do you clean up?
Almost daily, about at least every other day.
Okay.
They have to be cleaned up after.
After 20, 30 ducks?
I mean, they have to be cleaned up after.
Right, right. Well, the reason I'm asking is in these emails, it talks about there's feces laying
I
around.
know, that's why I was telling you, that's not true.
That's not true.
No.
Okay, so what we have is your word against 3 emails and your partner's word.
I understand.
Okay.
One of those is on the board.
Right.
The
Well,
other
that
one
has
is
nothing to
not.
do with it.
The Hodges, they're not particularly.
You're not,
fond of me.
in the 15, 25 minutes that you spent talking, you never once talked about how you go out and clean up after your ducks, and that seems to be the problem, is cleaning up after them.
No,
There's a smell and there's feces that's in all 3 of these emails.
No, sir, they are cleaned up after.
Okay.
I promise
You
you.
also mentioned
Drain
that
their
your
ponds.
health condition doesn't allow you to go out and
It's
clean.
exhausting. No, it does. But if I don't have that, I will die. So it is more important to be able to keep my ducks.
How often are you cleaning up after the ducks? Is it daily or weekly?
No, it's at least every other day. They have to be fed that often too. And with it being so hot, it's almost been daily because the little ponds and stuff, I'll drain it because they get it dirty.
And did you ever get down to 4 ducks like we asked? Did you ever get it down to 4?
No, sir.
Okay.
Thank you. Please have a seat. Adam, I have a question for you. I'm asking you to refresh my memory. When you have ducks or chickens, what is the guidelines?
So, under the zoning ordinance, it says you must have a minimum of 5 acres to be used for agricultural. And ducks would be considered an agricultural use. So therefore, if you don't have 5 acres, you cannot have any ducks. Now, that would be under the zoning ordinance. During the last hearing with Matt here, we went with using the nuisance ordinance because I was receiving complaints in the last hearing from the neighbors. So we did go by the nuisance ordinance, that these were causing a nuisance to the neighbors with the smell, the noise, and that is the route that we took. So,
But did we not also discuss that it's a 5-acre piece of property and Crystal Lake are they 5 acres?
None of the lots in Crystal Lake are 5
It's not
acres.
5.
They're not 5 acres.
No.
Thank you. If there's no other discussion, I would like to have some discussion with the board. And I guess the concern that I'm having is we recognize that this is not 5 acres. We recognize that she needs duck eggs. But she's living in a community that is not allowing that. So we tried to work with that community. And from my perspective, it's not gonna work. They established rules as a homeowners association long before we ever came into the picture. We tried to come up with some solutions to help make that work. So that's my viewpoint. I'm very concerned that if we don't really take a hard look at what this is, we're trying to make this happen when perhaps ducks could be placed someplace else. Or the owner move someplace else. And I can't tell her to do that. But where she is now, it's not a workable situation. And medically, I understand that. And I don't know, I want her to have duck eggs. I just don't know how to help her do that. But having 4 ducks is not going to do it. She needs 10. That's really not working.
So wouldn't it behoove her to move?
Well, we can't tell her to do that.
I understand we can't make a motion or anything to make you move. But if my health relied on that and my neighborhood didn't like it, I would find that there's plenty of farm space out in Henry and Trimble that you could do this.
I guess where I'm coming with this is we need to move forward. Is it a nuisance?
Is it a
And
nuisance?
accept that.
You have to address
We
this
have to address the
situation
issue.
on this property.
Right.
Not
Okay.
make a recommendation to move.
We
or-
can't do any of
you-
that.
You can't do any of that.
But I think with what we've been given, we have to move forward. Is it a nuisance or is it not?
You also have a previous final order that said, 4 ducks. And you asked if she ever got down to 4, and she said no. So, there's, and also the previous order, the fine was held in abeyance. So you got a couple of things to deal with.
Okay.
Plus a new citation, and whether or not you're gonna try to find some remedy or, make a accommodation for her situation.
Well, from our perspective, from the board's perspective, from mine, we did make an accommodation. We tried to make that accommodation by her keeping 4 ducks. And that's not gonna work. I'm sorry, we're closed.
So what?
So, please speak,
You're gonna have to speak into their.
speak into the mic.
Yeah.
What's the status of the Crystal Lake Board? Why haven't they initiated some action in court, or an individual property owner could do it, to enforce the deed restrictions of the subdivision? Anybody here to speak for the board, or for, I mean, that's the quick remedy for you all.
Yeah, can you answer that again?
Pardon?
Ask it again, Mr. Combs.
You couldn't hear that?
I couldn't hear that, no.
I'm asking why the
Well,
Crystal Lake.
Wait a minute. Do you want to open the floor back
I'll open it
up?
back up because
You
she
did.
gets to come back
Okay.
up too.
Okay.
Can you tell me why Crystal Lake or an individual property owner has not taken some actions in court to enforce the deed restrictions?
Yeah, there's 2 answers. First of all, when we were in the process of looking into that, and this guy, and then that's when the original complaints came out. And we decided that we wanted the county to take a look and figure out what it wanted to do first, because you're the supervising organization in this whole stack of things. And so we've been hoping and working with Adam, trying to figure out what that solution might be with you guys.
So if I'm hearing you right, it means if this board were to not take any action, then it's back in your lap, and you would then be filing actions to enforce your deed restrictions.
Yeah, but that means you're not enforcing your ordinances yourselves, so, I mean, it's, one
The
of the
local
issues.
ordinance couldn't control your deed restrictions at this point. It can.
Well, without,
Well,
a-
I want-
We have to take an action on our own regulations. And there was, in the previous case, there was a kind of an agreement that, you know, a few would allow them to be able to say, the HOA would be able to say, look, okay, we have a special scenario. So I think we just got to boil this back down to what are we faced with today?
Well,
You
let me
know,
ask this other question. What was the reason, I couldn't really hear a lot of it. What is the reason the ducks are allowed to be there?
Well, it was
First
simply
place.
to accommodate an emotional support animal on the piece of property on her behalf.
All right. Yeah, I have some familiarity with this, but I'm not gonna get into it now because I ended up in federal court. And I did once in federal court, involving a dog
Well,
but it's a tricky little area, I'm gonna
Well,
tell you right now,
Yeah.
but it's up to, I don't know how.
it's, I
I'm
think we
gonna
just
leave
deal
it-
with
I'm gonna
what's
leave
in.
it for
deal
that.
I
with
feel like
what's
we
in
can
front of
deal
us.
with
Just
what-
deal with
We are
what's
just
in
gonna
front
deal
of
with
us.
the
we
nuisance.
have to deal with.
Yep.
However,
They have to deal
you,
with
the homeowners association could also do some legwork here too. We're gonna have to rule today on what we have. But I like what Tate is saying too. You could enforce your rules other ways, not just here.
Yeah, we understand that, but
We'll do what we have to do, but you all need to do a little bit more yourselves.
we understand that, but this has been going on for about a year, and we've tried a bunch of things.
Yeah, we've ruled on it already. Now we got to do it again.
Yeah, it's more of an issue of compliance and compassion all trying to blend together, right? And quite frankly, you know, subdivisions don't have a lot of money to spend on legal stuff, and it's a kind
Neither
of like,
does the county,
No, I
having all of
understand.
us sit here and listen to this a second time.
well,
You know, this shouldn't be debated. Let's
Let's keep going.
close. Yeah.
Wendy, you have the opportunity to come back up.
The reason they want it to go through you guys is because it's illegal to discriminate against that. So even though their subdivision states that I can't have them, the law, Kentucky law states that if I have a disability, they are required to make accommodations for me and allow me to have those animals. So they hired an attorney for another issue they had, and I feel that they probably spoke with him, and I'm not going to say anything because I don't know if they did or not, but figured out that the way they can get rid of them is a nuisance complaint. So they have just been harassing me to no end about these ducks ever since they found out, you know. But yeah, legally, I am disabled, like, through the American Disabilities Act. Like, I am certified disabled, and 100%. And, you know, they protect things like this, and for a good reason. And it's just for exactly what I'm telling you. I need these ducks, and I am taking care of these ducks, and I am maintaining, I am doing everything I am required to do because I am so fearful that I'm going to have to get rid of these ducks. So I didn't want one single complaint about it, but the fact of the matter is that they don't want me to have these ducks. And so if they found out, all they've got to do is complain and get you guys to rule against it versus them having to go to court where they might lose because they're not being honest. I mean, I'm just going to straight up tell you that they're lying, and that's like slander. I mean, they're harassing me and they're being slanderous, and it's not right. And you can't just say things about people like that that are not true just to get this enforced. And so I don't know what else to say about it. If it was the truth, I'd tell you it was the truth and I'd do better, but there's not any doing better when it's not the truth. And that was why they were so focusing so much on, well, get it down to a number. We want a number. We want a number. We don't want her to have any. And they were really mean about it last time. And that's because they want you to decide and not a court to decide, because a court has already decided. They've already decided that a person with a disability has to have reasonable accommodations. And I'm going to be honest, if I didn't need those ducks, I would not be here. I have got enough on my plate. I am telling you. every which way. So I am not trying to be mean. I'm not, and I don't want to upset anybody. I'm just telling you, I need those ducks
Thank you,
to
Wendy.
live.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think we ought to go into closed session. I need to speak with the board, because I'm gonna tell you some things that you may not wanna hear.
If I may say something, it seems to me like in summary, we have this case before. There's been no change, and by Ms. Summers' own volition or statement, she has not attempted to comply with what the board's final decision was. But I've heard also that homeowners association has said if they would provide a written doctor's prescription for the ducks, that that's something that they would consider, and they said they have not received that yet. And Mrs. Summers has indicated that she's given them everything that by law that she's required to. So it seems like we still have a stalemate between the homeowners association and Ms. Summers. So
Well,
Given-
but can I add to that, though? But there's been a nuisance complaint filed with us. So the stalemate isn't about the HOA, and it is whether or not this is a violation of our nuisance ordinance.
correct.
It really is. All the other evidence about the HOA is somewhat irrelevant.
Agreed.
So didn't we determine that it was a nuisance in May when we heard it before?
I believe you did.
So
Yes, we did.
is there any way to expedite, we've already done all this.
Right. Yeah, you have a final order from May 15th. And again, you voted to impose a fine of $150, and you held it in abeyance for 30 days, subject to the respondent complying to the following terms and conditions. Reduce the number of ducks on the property to 4 within 30 days from 5/5/2023. So that really didn't happen. A separate citation was issued, which is a second violation, and which is what's in front of you today. It's citation number 714. And if you look at it on the bottom of the page, in the corner, it says second citation in 12 months, and now the fine is $250. These are the things I believe you need to rule on. Is this a nuisance?
Right.
Has there been compliance with even the previous, which you held the fine in abeyance? Do you want to levy another fine? What do you want to do?
I'd like to make a motion that the citation was properly issued on the 3rd of August, 2023 to the owner of the property.
A second?
Okay, who made that second?
I did.
Mike, okay. Okay, we have a motion on the floor that it was properly issued, and I have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, this motion carries.
I'd like to make a motion that violation of Oldham County nuisance ordinance was committed because the conditions A, B, and D of our form, the condition or use of the premises are detrimental to the property of others or causes or tends to cause substantial diminution in the value of properties in the community. The condition of the premises renders a property dangerous or detrimental or adverse to the health or welfare or offensive to the senses of residents of the community. And the violation was observed by the officer on 3 August 23, and there is substantial evidence in the record that the violation was permitted to exist.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Second?
Okay. I'm going to go for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Okay, the motion carries.
I'd like to make a motion that to issue a remedial order as follows. That the owner be required to, within 30 days, be required to pay the original fine under the previous citation of $150, and comply with the original final order of last May within 30 days or pay the additional fine of $250. And if not in compliance, a new citation be ordered once a month until compliance is achieved.
Okay, can I just ask for some clarification? Did you say that the 250 would be held in abeyance
If
if
she
it was
pays the
compliant?
150,
Okay,
and after 30 days, if she is in compliance, that the 250 be waived. Otherwise, it will be paid and a new citation issued each month until it is in compliance
Okay,
with
we
the
have a-
original order.
okay, we have a motion on the floor that the original fine of $150 to be paid, that the homeowner is to comply with the original final order, and if that happens within 30 days from today's date, is that correct? Okay,
That's what I heard.
okay. And if that happens, then the $250 fine would be held in abeyance. If it does not take place, then a new citation will be created once a week,
Once
a month, once a month, until the,
In compliance.
until in compliance. Okay? We have a motion. I have read it. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mike has a second. Okay. I'm going to ask each of you to show me your votes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All votes have carried. Opposed, nay. There are none. This motion carries. Thank you. Okay, this brings conclusion to citation 714. And Adam will get with you to get you the further information, but you heard what we said, that you are to bring, that you are to pay the $150 fine, and that you are to follow in compliance with the final order. And if that does not take place, then a new citation would be created once a month until the property is brought into compliance. That is the end of this citation. There's no further discussion. Thank you. No.
Four ducks. Yep. Yeah, that was, the 4 ducks was the original decision in May.
Okay, there's no further discussion. This citation is now closed.
It's a discussion is closed, right? Citation isn't.
Yeah, I think they just wanted clarification on how many ducks.
Next citation, please.
So the next citation is citation number 715, 3102 Belknap Beach Road in Prospect, Kentucky. The owner on record is One Earth Kentucky LLC. This hearing was not requested. This is the general location of the property down by the Ohio River on Belknap Beach off of Rose Island Road. This is a violation of the Oldham County zoning ordinance for short-term rental property. So here's to the left is a picture of a snapshot of a listing that I found on VRBO for a short-term rental. They didn't have a permit on file. I did go out, and here is a picture of the actual house that I went out to on August the 14th on the right. So when you go on VRBO, you can't actually find the exact location of the house. So this was a picture that was listed, and this is the actual picture of the house. There's no way to find out which house is actually the one that's listed on VRBO, if that makes sense. So here is where it shows that I could book the property for as little as 3 days, which is a violation. Must be 30 days or more. I did issue citation number 715 on August the 14th. I also posted a citation on the door. So a little bit of a history. I received a complaint about trash and noise from one of the neighbors. They did inform me at the time that this was a short-term rental property. Receiving the complaint, I looked through our permitted STRPs to find out who would be the responsible party to contact to have the property cleaned up and make sure that it was being maintained. Looking through our permitted STRPs, 3102 Belknap Beach, they did not have a permit. So I could not find any of that information. That's when I began an investigation and went on VRBO to see that it was listed for a rental, and then went down and make sure that I had the right property. I did issue the citation on August the 14th. As of today, they have contacted me, the owner. It doesn't appear to be listed anymore. They have taken the advertisement down. I can't find it anymore. I know they have spoken to Ryan Fisher about applying for a permit, but at this time I don't believe they have. As of today, the fine has not been paid in the amount of $150.
Okay, Gee, this is not
If I
a
can help you
nuisance,
out.
this is
So
a
in the
zoning.
second page of the citation, OC zoning ordinance 250050, Part B, number 5, short-term rental property, no person or entity should operate an STRP or advertise a residential property for use without owner having first obtained a permit. I think
Okay.
that's really the essence of the violation.
That's what I was looking for.
The code enforcement officer has observed that it's been advertised. They have remedied it apparently by taking it off the advertising. So the question at hand is was there a violation? You know, evidence has shown that there was. Adam has said that they haven't paid the fine.
Okay, and there's no one else here to speak on their behalf?
No.
No? Okay, let's move forward.
I move that the citation was properly issued on the 14th of August, 2023 to the respondent who was the owner of the property.
Second.
Okay, we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The motion carries. Okay, this is not a nuisance, this is a zoning or other code violation.
There was no other violations, Adam?
No, by the time I got down there, the property appeared to be cleaned up. There was nobody staying there.
So the citation is just for,
The
because he
citation
didn't have
is-
the permit?
Yes, just for advertising without a permit.
And again, that's section 250050, Part B, Part 5.
I feel like we've ruled on this before, not on this particular property, but
No.
there was somebody that rented a place for
We had one
Derby
similar.
week one time.
Okay,
I'd like to make a motion that a violation of Oldham County zoning ordinance was committed because an activity is being conducted at the location, namely a short-term rental property, which is in violation of county ordinance because it is not one of the permitted uses allowed in this zone.
Okay,
Without a permit.
without a permit. Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Okay, I have a second. I'll call for a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, the motion carries. What's the fine?
I make a motion that the board shall uphold the citation and that it be paid within 30 days from today, or a lien would be placed on the property.
Okay, I have that a motion's on the floor that the citation be upheld and paid within 30 days, or a lien will be placed on the property.
I second the motion.
We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, the motion carries. Okay, sir. Old business?
Old business. So we're going to kind of jump around a little bit on old business. We're going to, the people that are here, we're going to try to do those first. So the first one I have here is 7699 Catalpa Drive. On the screen, you do have the final order that was issued on May the 15th of 23. Roger and Donna Martin, their son Michael is here. You all voted to impose a fine of $150 to hold it in abeyance, subject to the respondent complying with the following terms and conditions. In 2 weeks from May the 5th, you are required that the brush must be moved off the roadway and to the burn pit area, and that it would be burned in the fall once the burn ban is lifted. I would like to say that, so the picture right here on the right, most of the brush, the debris had been moved. There was just a little bit that still remained. I know he's going to come up here and talk with an explanation on this. A lot of this brush came from tree trimmers that were trimming the trees, and they did not haul it off. I visually have seen that myself. I saw where they trimmed the trees. I tried to contact our road department and Wright Tree Service. Both of them said that it wasn't them, so I don't know who it was. So some of this debris was from that. There still was some remaining debris that had not been moved. From 90 days from May the 5th, you informed him to rebuild the shed. Here's a picture of the shed. As of today, no improvements have been made on the shed. And the 90 days has passed. You all gave him 60 days to get in contact with me about the owners of the vehicle in the field and to get them removed from the property. Here they are. Here's the picture on the right. One of the trucks has been removed, but one truck does remain. And then lastly, you ordered him to communicate with me on a timeline to clean up the debris behind the bus and beside the fence that was at the back of the property. Picture on the left right here. I will say the bus has been removed and it has not been back since. He's going to come up today and talk to you all about the timeline on starting to remove a lot of the junk and debris from the back of the fence. And then lastly, there was agreement for no more future dumping to be tabled with discussions in a future meeting. So that's something I want to bring up today because, again, on the picture on the left here, and I have spoken to him today about that, and he's going to describe, explain the situation. You do see a trailer here with looks like a washing machine and a microwave on it. which is new to the site from previously. So if you all would like for him to come up and talk to y'all.
Okay. And what is his name?
Michael.
Okay. Michael, I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand.
Do what?
Raise your right hand.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give this board is true and accurate to the best of your belief and knowledge?
Yes.
Thank you.
And your full name?
William Smith.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
What did you need to know right away?
Well, you were going to talk to us about the picture that still had some items in it, when your plan to get rid of the rest of the things behind the fence and that other vehicle.
Okay, the other vehicle should be moved here real soon. The gentleman that owned them, I finally got a hold of him, and he came and got the other one last week.
Okay,
That one should be out of here within the next couple weeks.
okay,
That one's just sitting in a worse spot.
okay. And we wanted to know, go ahead.
So about the rest of the debris, the the washing machine that was being brought in, definitely need to get a timeline on when he's going to start removing all the junk and debris from behind the fence. And then the shed, the fact that nothing's been done on the shed. So the things that he's already passed time on is the removal of the truck, the rest of the debris needs to be removed over, and the shed. Then he's here to discuss about not bringing any more in and removal of everything behind the fence. Those were not given a timeline at the last meeting. So he has not met the timeline for the other three. The one that he did kind of meet was the debris. He did not meet the removal of the two trucks. He did not meet the timeline for the removal of the vehicles.
Okay. Talk to us about the brush.
The brush, I had it down to where it was only just a few loads. I had it down to where it was maybe 3 or 4 wheelbarrow loads left. And then they come through and trimmed all the power lines down and threw everything right back.
Okay, well, we'll be looking forward to you getting that done in the next few weeks, couple of weeks.
That right there, I have no room in the burn pit for that. I had everything down to where it was okay until I burned it. And then they came through and reloaded it. They even threw stuff in my burn pit. And on the pile that I was supposed to move from beside the road, they put more stuff on it.
And what about the things behind the fence?
Huh?
What's the timeline behind the fence, moving the items?
The shed?
The shed's next, yes. What about the items behind the fence?
Behind the fence is just a bunch of the school buses and the 3 refrigerators I couldn't get rid of. That I was planning on doing. I guess when taxes come, I'll have the extra money to get a dumpster in there.
Okay. And what about the building?
The shed?
Uh-huh.
It's on the lower property. I haven't had the money to put any money into that. I just haven't had time to get to it.
Okay. All right, thank you. Let me see.
That's the only issue with that one. I just haven't had the money to get into it. And then the trailer he's got a picture of here on the,
Uh-huh.
that right there was actually just dropped there 2 days ago.
And,
A friend of mine was hauling it down the road and the tire fell off, and I was the closest house to bring it to.
so it'll be going out soon.
Yeah, so it'll be moved here next couple of days since I put a tire on it.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. Okay, Adam, what was our next steps? You've given us an update.
So the reason why I'm coming back, he was given a final order. He did not meet that final order. I'm still getting some complaints on the property. I would like to say that the property has been cleaned up substantially from the street view, but you still have the shed. Nothing's been done on that. That was a big one. I mean, if you look at the final order, the only real thing that it has been completed that, and I don't blame him on the debris because a lot of that was dumped by the tree trimmers. The only thing that he completed was the debris. There was no improvement on the shed. One vehicle was removed, but one still remains. Even though the property looks better, from my looks, it looks like more has come in. Now, if it's getting removed within a day, you know, I don't know that, but I drove out there today. There's a new dishwasher, a new washing machine there. One of the trucks was removed. It's been 4 months. One truck was removed, one still remains. All the junk and debris behind the fence, if he wants to wait until tax time, that's giving him another 6-7 months. And in the last 4 months, I mean, I kind of understand, but at the same point in time, the guy came there and got one vehicle. He's got to get the other one out, and this has got to start happening faster. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Is there any way we can contact the fire company to find out who trimmed the trees if they're on the power lines?
I've made several efforts, and I've come up empty. I mean, I made 3 or 4 different phone calls to see, and I got a call back just Monday from Wright Tree Service, and they said, no, it wasn't us. So I'm
You're not hearing anything back from LG&E or Kentucky Utilities?
no, I'm out. I'm out of options.
They contract out that anyway, and I guess maybe they would know, but they're,
That's what I was thinking.
He
If they
did
can
get-
contract it, then we
Yeah.
can find out who they contracted with and give them a citation.
LG&E said that they contract through Wright. The one that I did speak to said they go through Wright Tree Service, and Wright Tree Service, after a week, he finally called me back and said, our guys weren't out there. He said maybe it was somebody else. So I've come up empty. I called the road department. It wasn't them. I don't know where to go from there. So ultimately, that's why I'm kind of lenient towards, he has done a really good job at moving over. His burn pile is full. The burn ban hasn't been lifted. Me personally, I'm okay with the debris that's left, as long as he gets that out, after the burn ban's over. But the other vehicles still being there, I was really upset when I came by today to see a trailer there with a washing machine. That appears more's coming in. I've gotten complaints that more has been brought in. I haven't been able to verify it. This is the only thing I can verify.
I feel like we in the original final order, we gave him plenty of time.
talking to the microphone.
Did you all hear me on that?
Yeah. He's had plenty of time.
Yes. And did we ask him to pay the fine or not? Did we hold it in abeyance?
You held it in abeyance, subject to him complying with the terms and conditions. And like I said, he met the debris one, I would say he met. The other two, he did not meet. And then he's here asking to give his timeline for the next thing, which would be cleaning up behind the fence.
Can I see that shed again? Is that concrete?
No, it's wood.
It's a wood shed?
I've had a pretty good look at it. It looks like a plywood shed. The left-hand side of it is pretty, the whole bottom side's kind of rotted out,
Yeah.
and he was trying to find a way to rebuild it.
Okay. It doesn't look like it could be rebuilt, but I would,
Cindy, he's
I'm
raised his
sorry.
hand. or-
Yes,
or
sir.
bottom.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
I've actually got a doctor's note for about the first month and a half of the original 3 months you gave me, I was down.
Okay,
I had bursitis in my hip,
okay,
and he knows that. He
Okay.
came by my house while I was down.
okay.
So that kind of did cut some of my time down on getting that done.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Adam, what I'm understanding is you're asking for the truck. You're asking for no more stuff to be delivered. We know it can't burn until October 1. And the shed.
The shed, the truck, no more to be brought in, and then a timeline on when he's going to have he needs a dumpster on site to, me and him have talked about it, about getting a dumpster, and he said he can't get one until tax time. But we need to get a dumpster there. I understand, he said school bus seats and a couple of refrigerators. There's a lot back there, and he does need a dumpster. I just don't see any way for, there's a lot to haul out.
Okay, is there any way some of that's going to be somewhat, although we don't like it, somewhat hidden.
I didn't get,
Is it going to be a little bit hidden so we could get the other three things done?
so the main things are the shed, the other truck, no more to be brought
more
in.
in.
I mean, nothing more brought in, and, you know, an immediate citation. And then,
Repeating the same thing now, so.
I know, since we've got those 4 items, is it worthy to give him 30 days? If he doesn't do it, then we go with the final order, he pays the fine, everything. I'm just asking. I can't make a motion.
I mean, that's what we have to decide. We're going to give him 30 more days, or we're going to say no.
Say
We're
no.
not going to give him any
That's
at
right.
all. So,
I think one thing I want to say is just understand that October 1st, the burn ban gets lifted, and it doesn't mean he lights it on fire immediately. And then there is that weird situation where something was dumped on him. So,
right.
you know, I know you're being thoughtful about that part.
So do we need a motion to give him 30 days? Well, I make a motion that we give him 30 days to remove the truck, fix the shed, and remove the trailer with the washer and microwave.
Motion, 30 days to remove the truck, fix the shed, remove the trailer, and no more dumping. Is that right?
And no more dumping. Do we need to talk about a fine there, or is that a second motion?
Well, we haven't had a second on this motion yet.
Okay, I'll make another motion on that.
Okay, so do I have a second on this motion?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second. I'm going to take a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Okay, the motion carries. Okay. You wanted to make another motion? Mike?
And he's already been fined
And it was held in abeyance.
150. Is that correct? So if he doesn't comply within 30 days, we can, I make a motion if he doesn't comply in 30 days, that another fine be levied at 250.
so that would be a new citation. Issue a second citation in 30 days if it's not done.
Okay?
A new citation.
Yeah, that's the proper way to do it, and it
Okay.
is, the second one would be $250.
Okay.
So we
Which
have
is
a-
what you said.
We have a motion on the floor that if the homeowner doesn't comply, then a new citation will be issued, and with that comes the fine of $250. Okay? Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the motion carries.
Be adequate repair for the shed? Can we, what would be good enough so that we have a point of reference?
Coat of paint.
Yeah, if he puts a patch on it, you know what I mean? Are we gonna say, yes, you'll get vinyl siding? At what point do we say it's repaired?
He could either remove it, or if you look at it, it doesn't look like it's about ready to fall down. Right now, you can see the junk falling out the sides.
Is there stuff in it?
Yes. And you can actually see it. I mean, if you look on the left corner, you can see the stuff starting to fall out.
And didn't he indicate previously that that was his intention to repair it?
That is correct. And lastly, can you all discuss, because I know he said tax time before he could get behind the fence. So is that something that we could go ahead and do today to go ahead and put a timeline on when he has to at least have a dumpster or start removing the stuff from the back of the,
You can make that as a separate motion if you want.
Okay, would need to be another citation?
Pardon?
Would need to be another citation?
Well, no, it's
Okay.
part of the cleanup of the
Part
property.
of the cleanup, okay.
So,
it was actually in the final order that that he would come back in and communicate a time at a future
Okay.
court board
So
hearing.
we're going to call tax time April 15th. Is that accurate?
Well, that's the
mean,
filing deadline.
That's your filing
that-
deadline.
But, you know, it could happen earlier.
Right. So I make a motion that he has till May 1st, 2024 to get a dumpster and get the rest of the junk out.
Okay, we have a motion that the homeowner has until May the 1st, 2024, to secure dumpster and remove all junk. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a second. Okay, I'm going to go for a vote. For all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Okay, the motion carries. Okay, sir. The next one.
All right, so our next case is case number 23-0083. This was 3505 Hawthorne Court. David Kent, he is here today. So you all did issue a final order June the 12th. He did come to the last co-board hearing and asked for a 3-week extension, which you all did give. And you all gave that on the hearing on August the 2nd. So I went out there yesterday, took a picture. As you can see, yesterday there was a dumpster delivered, but it didn't appear that any of the junk or debris had been picked up. The vehicles had been moved around, but none of them appeared to have been removed. I do believe he has some explanation for that. I think one of them's been removed. He has parked them down towards the bottom of the hill. The only one that's still sitting up top is the van. I believe he said that they are now drivable and
Let him, yeah, you don't have to explain.
I was out there on the 6th. As you can see, on 6/6, the picture to the left is the bamboo that was growing along that was in violation. 3 months later, yesterday when I was out there, you can still see there's a little bit of the bamboo's been cut back, but still very little progress on the bamboo. This is a 3-month difference in those two pictures. This is probably the most significant improvement. The picture on June the 6th shows the street view. The picture on the left, you can see the vegetation covering the whole front of the house. This is the picture that I took on September the 5th, the street view of the house. A lot of improvement in that aspect. So he has made a lot of headway towards the front. So that's the case right there. Pretty much the issue is remaining the vehicles and the bamboo. And the junk and debris actually have to be put in the dumpster. So I know he's here today.
Thank you. You raise your right hand. Thank you.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give this board is true and accurate to the best of your belief?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
It's your turn.
As far as the cars, well, I'll start with the dumpster. It was just delivered yesterday, so I haven't had a chance to get started filling it. As far as the cars, they are now all currently registered and operable. And the two that I put down at the bottom of the driveway, I will have for sale as soon as the dumpster is moved out of the driveway, so I can get them out. The van next to the dumpster is scheduled to be towed away tomorrow. I donated that to Habitat for Humanity, and they're going to, at least I'm on the schedule for tomorrow. As far as the bamboo goes, I have made a start on from the street, the right side, I guess that's the north side of the lot, along my neighbor Jones' fence line. I've gotten started in there, gone back, I guess, maybe 8 or 10 feet. And I don't know if you can get one of the pictures back of the two sides, yeah, that one, of the two sides of the house. You can see in the right picture, the front right corner of the house. I have gone back as far as the air conditioning compressor, removing the bamboo from there. And as far as not having more bamboo done, I will certainly blame the week and a half we had of near 100-degree weather. I just wasn't able to work outside then at all. But I have removed some more of the honeysuckle that was growing up in the front area of the maple trees against the front of the house. That's all gone. And I'm hopeful that, yeah, you can see on the right picture there, between the maple trees, that's all cleared out. And as far as working on the rest of the bamboo, I'm hopeful that you can table this and let me get back to you in 30 more days and see significant improvement on it.
Have a seat for a
Adam,
moment, please.
what was the original complaint about the bamboo? If you could refresh me.
Well, I can. I think my next door neighbor, Joan, has started having bamboo encroach into her yard beyond my fence line.
So you were.
And
to
that's where
start
that's
at
the
your
area where I'm
fen-
working now.
So you were starting at your fence line and you were.
Yes, I'm planning to go along her fence line, our fence line, to get a pathway at least 8 or 10 feet wide before I work on the rest of it.
Okay, and you think you can have that accomplished in 30 days?
Yes, I do.
And your neighbor will be happy?
I hope so. I think she's somewhat happier already. But yes, I think that'll make a big difference.
Well, do remember that you gave him a 3-week extension the last time.
That's true. But I thought that was particularly just for the cars. In any case.
That's not my recollection. I think it was to do all the things that were necessary to be done.
Okay,
You have a seat.
thank you.
Just, did I not give you all the final order in your packet? I don't think I did, and I apologize for that. Maybe I ought to start giving that to you all. So in the original, and I'll read this to you. In the original final order, it's right here. You held the $150 fine in abeyance. All the vegetation was to be cut back and the trash removed within 30 days. All the vehicles removed from the property within 60 days from June the 7th. So he came in on August the 2nd to ask for the 3-week extension on all of it. So he had not met the timeline on the vegetation or on the vehicles or on the junk and debris. He had met part of it by removing it partially from the house, but he definitely didn't have the bamboo removed, and that's when he came in and asked for the 3-week extension. That 3 weeks was up around August the 22nd, August the 23rd. He did call me. I did drive by, and he was there. We did have a week of 100-degree weather, and so I did talk to Jim, and we, kind of didn't want him working in that week.
Knowing that it was scheduled for today, it made sense to just
Correct.
give him another week.
We gave him that extra week because of that heat. So, you did give him the extension. He has made progress on the front of the house, but the vegetation, it's got to get done.
We understand that, but this is what we did in the minutes. Motion was made by Board Member Kaiser and seconded by Board Member Judy to give a 3-week extension to get the property in compliance. And if the property is not in compliance in 3 weeks, then a citation is to be issued. So we have a new citation to issue.
Issue another citation?
Well, that's what we said we were going to do in the minutes, and it was voted on.
So we have to issue a citation according to that.
Well, if we go by the minutes,
Yeah,
which we just
Approved.
approved and
Yeah,
voted
yeah.
and signed,
yeah.
we did say that he would be given the 3 week to bring it into compliance. And then it was stated, if not brought into compliance in 3 weeks, then a citation was to be issued.
Okay.
And we voted on it.
And the second citation would have a $250 fine for the second violation.
But we held the first one in abeyance. So the 30 days is up. So that abeyance is gone and $150 needs to be paid.
That's what it means.
So can he pay the 150 and we give him 30 days with that? If he complies within 30 days, he doesn't have to pay the 250? Is that
That's,
right?
again, what Chairman just read was he already made a decision
Right. He's already got a fine.
that included a second citation.
Oh, I see. All
You
right.
can't act on the second citation yet because it hasn't even been issued.
Okay. But we have to, according to the minutes, we have to issue a second citation.
That's exactly what we said.
Okay.
It was voted on, and unfortunately, it passed. So that's what we have to do.
So are we collecting the $150 fine, and I'm going to issue another
Well,
citation?
you've got to wait till they make a decision.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do we want to continue to hold this in abeyance? 150, because we are going to write him a new citation.
Does that mean he doesn't have to pay the 150 till,
If we make a motion to continue to hold it in abeyance.
okay.
Well,
Or
can
what?
you override a decision you already made?
Yeah,
Oh, we can't do that, can we?
yeah.
No, I can't do
It
that.
has, it can't go
That was
into,
totally
yeah,
wrong. Totally wrong,
yeah,
because we said if it was,
right,
if everything was done.
okay.
Okay, I'm sorry, I retract. So the motion, we have to get the $150 fine.
So we need a motion to apply the $150 fine?
Well, I think, just give them a time frame. Usually you give them 7 or something days to pay the $150 fine, so you can take that action because the citation has not been satisfied.
Okay.
It's not in compliance. And then deal with, Adam will, based on your old decision, give another citation tomorrow, and then deal with,
The next
you know,
30,
the
yeah.
remediation.
So you need a motion for the first fine?
For the payment of the $150
So
fine.
I make a motion that the fine be made payable in 7 days of $150.
I second it.
Okay, we'll go for a vote, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, that motion carries.
And then I would like to make a motion that we give him 30 days to get rid of the vehicles and the rest of the cleanup and removal of the dumpster.
If I'm going to be writing a citation, I don't think you need to make that, because if I'm going to write a citation, it's going to have the vehicles, the junk and debris, and the vegetation on it. So you'll be seeing that the next code board hearing with those
Yeah, we've
violations
done-
and see if they were done.
Okay?
Okay,
So we need a motion for him to comply within 30 days.
I think that would be fine.
what?
That would be a good thing to do.
Yep.
Give them a timeline.
Okay. So we're making him a motion for him to comply within 30 days with the new citation?
Yes.
Yes.
Because then the next thing, if it's not in compliance, you start daily fines. At this point, you aren't doing that, but you can issue if it's not in compliance in 30 days, I think your next thing is a daily fine,
Right.
which will be
Martha,
third
are you ready?
violation and $450 a day.
Okay, so are you ready for that motion?
Can you read it back to me? You made some notes
Well,
there?
I'm going to try.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to, for the new citation, he will be given 30 days to comply.
Okay.
I make a motion we give,
We'll say you got 30 days. Okay, got it.
To
I make a
comply.
motion we give him 30 days to comply.
Okay, and do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. I'm going to ask for a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay?
Do we need a motion to issue a citation if there is no compliance? Or is that just
Well, you deal
automatic?
with that at the next board meeting.
Okay.
Yeah,
Perfect.
okay.
Okay, now we're ready for 11316 Ham Drive.
I gotta go to Pee Wee Valley for a city council meeting, so.
So this is citation number 708. You all issued a final order August the 2nd of 23. You all found the property to be in violation. You all fined them at $150. That citation has been paid in the amount of $150. It was paid on 8/21. You voted for me to take this to fiscal court to start the dilapidated building process. We did move this to fiscal court, and it has been approved moving forward with the dilapidated building process. We did that yesterday.
Okay.
So that is moving forward.
All right, sir.
Cool.
All right. So the next case was case 22-0130. This was 7401 Hemlock Avenue. I'm one day early on this one. This was for Pamela D. Elkins. You all did issue a final order at a hearing on June the 7th. I took some pictures. His 90 days is not actually up until tomorrow, but I don't believe it's going to be completed at that time. So in that final order, you had told him that the $150 was to be paid. He did pay it on June the 21st, so he did pay the fine. You gave him 90 days to have the property cleaned up. Otherwise, a citation would be issued on a weekly basis, that each week that the property remained in violation. So I went out there today. This is a picture over the fence. As you can see, there's still several vehicles back there. Nothing, no improvement back behind the fence. The picture to the left here was taken June the 6th, looking at his garage through the fence. This next picture was 3 months later on 9/6, looking through the fence. As you can see, there's almost no change. These two pictures, the picture to the left was taken on June the 6th. This is the picture taken on the right, was taken today. The vehicle's been brought down from the top of the hill and is now sitting beside the other vehicle that was out front. So really no change there. And then this is a picture looking towards the garage from the roadway, picture to the left on the 6th. Picture on the right today, maybe even a little worse. Definitely no improvement. And then finally, these are both two pictures taken 3 months apart. Picture to the left. The only difference to the picture on the right is you now have another piece of equipment there. So I will be issuing weekly citations starting tomorrow if it's not completed by tomorrow. So the next case is 7401 Glenwood Avenue. This case goes back September the 7th of 22. You all issued to hold the fine. I think it was for $950 to be paid within 45 days. I did place a lien on the property. He did come in and pay that fine. I think I've updated you all with that before. You all also, the case has been turned over to the county attorney. The property still is not in compliance, but over the last couple weeks, there's been vast improvements of the property. I didn't put any old pictures up. I just took the one picture today. But if you can see, I don't know if you can remember it, but what you see here is the remnants of that camper. He's had the camper removed. I actually took another picture today, but it didn't come out at all. The right side of the garage has been drastically cleaned. So he's really making a lot of headway on this. 2 dumpsters I know have been removed from the property of junk, and the camper has pretty much been removed. All that's left is the frame for him to haul out. So he's making a lot of headway. I think last month when I talked to you all, I told you all that I'd be issuing a citation if it wasn't improved. I am keeping an eye on this. I'm not issuing the citation because he's making so much headway towards getting it cleaned up. If the progress does stop, I will be issuing a citation and bring it back to you. But at this time, I think he's definitely headed in the right way to get it cleaned up, and staying in contact with me about every 2 weeks.
Adam, what is the county doing if it's been, it says this case has been turned
So-
over to the county attorney?
I don't know if Tate's aware, Mr. Combs. I believe, so it had to be issued through the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department, had to serve that. I did turn that over November of last year. To my knowledge, it still has not been served by the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department. So I spoke to him today, and he said he has not received.
It's probably partly in Jefferson County, and
He lives in Jefferson County, but he owns this property out here.
I remember something about it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So as of today, he told me that he has not received it. I don't know what's going on with that. I can try to check on it, but everyone tells me it's Jefferson County's just not issuing them very quickly.
I kind of like what you're saying about let's just kind of watch his progress for a little while. Looks like he's cleaning it up.
He's actually gave the gentleman, if you can remember, had somebody living there. He gave him 30 days, and I think that 30 days is up. So that guy's getting all his stuff out. Okay. He's actually bought some stuff from him so he could junk it out and get rid of it. So he's made a lot of headway. Yeah. And that concludes today.
Okay. Is there any other business before this board today? Okay, being none, we are adjourned.